All right, so I got my battery hooked up. Got my turn signal, and then my halogen. I'm gonna take the halogen out. I'm gonna put. I got my LEDs all brand new in a box. Got my little side winder, side whatever marker thing. So same thing on the other side. Just got the bulbs out of the sockets so everybody can see it. Now I got my LEDs in the back for now. I don't have the LEDs for the front. They're all 1157s. And then it comes with the little side marker 194. And so what I had to do was modify this socket. This socket's from a Ford Bronco. And I used JB Weld to weld the socket in there. Looks all nice. It's really stiff. Because these old Chevy ones were put on by plastic crap. This only goes one way. If I can find out which way. LEDs are tricky on these. And I got a red LED. It'll just be brighter than a white. Through the lens. Wrong damn way. There we go. So just to demonstrate everything working, because it wasn't before, I actually was using these LED lights, Velcro, and I was sticking it right here, and then I had it on the remote for my tail lights. Because the tail lights are wired in with the ignition switch in the fuse block. That's how Chevy did it. So now things are changing up because this has electronic fuel injection and not a carburetor. So now I gotta get some relays and do some things. So just to demonstrate that all this works. I have a little bit of a problem with the ground on this one because I used too much JB Weld. It wasn't making contact with the socket. So I just drilled a tiny hole here and I made a ground and I put it on the nut that holds the actual housing in. It works great. Now the only thing that you have to modify when you do your LEDs, you got your flashers, your Boostman flashers, and one's for the hazard lights and one's for the turn signal. It's essentially the same thing. Well, this one says flasher on it, but I have switched them and they have worked. I don't know what's different about them, but anyways, you take them out and you put in these things. And the reason you got to do that is because LEDs draw a very, very low current. Like these things can't even pick up on it. It thinks nothing's there, so nothing. Either you get weird flashing, erratic flashing, no flashing. I was getting a little bit of everything. So thing with these is these are LED flashers and they pick up on that very low current or amperage. And so right now I got this. I actually know what most of these wires are, believe it or not. One day I'll take this dash out and I'll make it beautiful. But right now I got this just jumping the ground because they do have their own ground. And I just wanted to test it out to see if it worked. And so we're going to do that. So on this here, I'm going to go ahead and take the headlight switch. I'm going to take this headlight switch here. Cameraman got lost. Woman got lost. So we're going to take this, what's this shit called? Headlight switch. Take the headlight switch. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and pull it. So just to demonstrate that, now I don't have to put the key in the ignition because most vehicles you can just turn on the headlights and the tail lights without having to turn the key to run or start. So that's how Chevy set it up 53 years ago in the El Camino. And you can see my LEDs are working left, on the right. Now in the front here, these aren't LEDs, and really you shouldn't intertwine LED with incandescent. But just for demonstration, today, I'm going to get these pulled out of the sockets so we can see. All the lights are working, they're on. Okay, got my headlights going here. I got much brighter ones. Alright, so that works like it's supposed to. And now, these are my LED headlights. These beautiful things here. You got the 3-prong, and I got a nice LED light in there. Really nice. But on these, you get the 3-prong. One's a high, low, and then the top is the ground. And we'll just have to see what line is what when we get there. And I got new connectors for them. Those things are ratty and old and been painted over and everything else. Connectors and all that. Okay. That wasn't much, $25. And I do have my original 53-year-old license plate light. And I was thinking about sandblasting it, but this is just so shot, and I mean I could probably make something out of it, but it was cheaper just to buy a new $20 one, which I have installed, but I have not hooked up yet because I'm going to do a posi tap on it. Maybe it'd just be nicer, easier. So now that works like it's supposed to. I'm going to end this video before the battery gets killed. So we're going to go to run. And now you can see when you start the generator, okay, or alternator, that's what it's supposed to do. And then now you don't hear the fuel pump because I have disconnected that side of it. I got all my lights working. If it was dark enough, you'd be able to see everything. But all the dash lights up. The clock, it loses its hands, and you don't want that running anyways all the time hot. Those just, they don't work. And they break, and Chevy knew that was a big problem. And then what we're going to do here, now typically, now you can do your turn signals. Oh, you could have also done your hazards without putting a key in. But you can do but you need your turn signals. Your turn signals only work with the key. So, we're going to do left turn signal. There you can see it's blinking in the front. Here you can see it's blinking nice and rapid. Or not too rapid, but it's about as normal as any car. And it's clicking. You can hear the click. And over here, see? So then what we're going to do, we're going to do the right side. Right side. Okay. That's beautiful. Clicking up there. Yep. Flashing up there. And then for the grand finale, we're going to go ahead and throw the hazards. And then the hazard, you got our little button here, okay? Now when I first got it, there was nothing here. And so I had to research, and I bought this little thing, a little nice tab, pull or whatever. I think I had to spend like $30 for this little thing. But anyways, you just push it in. And there you can see both blinking here, the indicator, and then we should have all the way around blinking for flashes. Okay, so then what we'll do is I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to show you different. And then I'm going to show you, here's a flashlight. It's in my pocket. In your pocket? I thought that was something else. So then we're going to show you this. All right. So we have the ignition switch right here. This big white thing. So then you see this? Okay. I know it looks bad, but just bear with me here. The pink wire that has all that crap on it is actually the, I believe, IGN1. You have ignition on the block, which is right here, this terminal right here in the middle. That's the one that's hooked up to the lights. That's how Chevy wired it, because certain things have to come on when you turn the ignition on. But then you have this, the actual wire that powers that. And what you want to do is you want to tap into this like they did. I took the wire off. They had soldered it, and then they had wrapped it. So I believe they had done it right. It kind of looks like crap. But I'm hoping I can repair that, and then I'll tap it in with a real nice, easy splice of some kind, probably a posi tap. And then I'm going to run that up to the engine, over and through the firewall. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put a relay somewhere right in here, run straight to the battery. Okay, so when the ignition switch gets energized, it'll trip the relay that's here and allow straight 12 volt from the battery here to come across, and then it's gonna, there's two wires now that they had tapped into on the ignition switch. One was going to the distributor, this flamethrower thing over here, which I know nothing about, but that's for another day. And then we have a what was the other wire? Reason why I'm doing this, I can't think. The alternator and the Phytech. The Phytech, which is the type of carburetor, but EFI, electronic fuel injection. So then that's going to get a clean 12 volt, both of them. And then Phytech has its own fuse box right here. And yeah, I'm going to clean up these wires and everything. Everything should work. Everything should work. So stay tuned for that one. And I'll have two separate circuits. I had done all the brakes, completely rebuilt. I had plans to take the dash out, totally figure out what's going on with all the wires in this thing. You know what every wire is, what it does, where it goes, how many's been spliced 5 times within 6 inches. I've actually found a wire like that. What the hell? It's probably the worst that I've found so far. Hood hinges. So this isn't the original hood, so it weighs a ton. If this was the original hood, these hinges would be able to support it. But now, when you buy these aftermarket hoods, which this is, you need some kind of hydraulics with the spring. And those things are almost $600. So we're just happy with the crutch here. And then, of course, I'm going to go back to the mechanics of wheel bearings. And, of course, I want to find out what's going on with the rear differential, the oil. I want to drain that out, do all that stuff one day. So, got a lot of projects here, a lot keep me busy. Yep, that's it. Vlog done.